Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about using Ziploc bags to store your meat in the freezer. So before you do that, before you get started, the one thing you want to do is check your freezer, make sure that you're going to have enough room to store all the meat that you purchase. The next thing is take a trip to the grocery store and find a selection of meat that you want to store. I picked up some steaks, and so I like getting my steaks from Albertsons. These are buy one get one free. Sometimes they'll have buy one get two free, so I have some steaks. I picked up some bratwurst, and I picked up some ground beef, and then I also got chicken while I was there. I really prefer to buy my chicken at Walmart instead, but today I picked it up at Albertsons. The Walmart, when I go to Walmart, it's a little bit less expensive, so that's why I usually pick it up there. But today I was making a trip to Albertsons, so that's what I got. You also want to make sure that you have some Ziploc bags on hand. There's two different sizes that I use. I use the quart size, and you want to make sure that it says freezer size or freezer on there, because that's going to help store your meat a little bit longer. And then the other one is the Ziploc freezer gallon size. And with this, you want to make sure that you have the slider. It just makes it easier to get into when you have to go take your meat out of it. So I really like those two. Then the other thing that you might want to pick up if you don't already have one is a food scale. And the only thing I really use the food scale for is my ground beef. So the rest of it I can kind of eyeball how much I need, and depending on how you're going to break your meat up, you might not even need one. So keep that in mind, and then you're ready to get started. Okay, so I've got my hair back, washed my hands, and I got my Sharpie. Forgot to mention earlier, you do need to have a Sharpie to mark your bags. So I've got that, and now I'm ready to go ahead and start with my ground beef. Now, if this package is about 4 pounds, so you can just divide this into 4, and then you wouldn't even need the scale. But for my husband and myself, we just use about 12 ounces or so. We don't do the whole pound, so I can usually get 5 out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and have my bag ready. I'm turning on my scale, and then I'm going to grab some ground beef and put it on my scale, and that's almost 13 ounces, so I'm ready to go ahead and bag that up. And the one thing that you want to do once you get it in the bag is you want to go ahead and make sure that you squeeze out as much air as you can, because the air is what's going to cause the damage to your meat. So squeeze out as much air as you can, seal it up really good. Okay, and then go ahead and label it. Now I just label the weight on this one, so this is almost, I'll just put 13, so 13 ounces. And then, like I said, make sure that it's flat, and that way it makes it easier to stack in the freezer once I put it in the bag. Now I'm going to go through and finish the rest of this ground beef and then show you how I store it in the larger Ziploc bag. Okay, so I was able to get my hamburger in 5 different packages. They came out to be about 12 or 13 ounces each, so that works good for me. And then on this package, this Ziploc bag, this is the one that actually has the zipper on it, so I like that. It makes it easier for me to get into after I've stored them in there. And this is just the extra layer of protection. So what I do with this bag is I go ahead and I write the date on here. So 12/31/16, go ahead and write the date, and then I go ahead and stack them in here. Actually, I don't stack them, I lay them in here. And then this is why it was important for them to be made kind of, the hamburger to be made kind of flat, so that it can go kind of in the bottom of your freezer without taking up too much room. Okay, so I actually double stack that there. And then I can slide another one in on the top, so I can get them all in. Again, I still push the air out of here, and then I make sure that they're flat enough, and I zip it up, and then it's ready to go in the freezer. Okay, so now I'm going to do the steaks, and I don't need to weigh the steaks because I can already see I'm probably going to do about 2 per bag. Again, it's just my husband and myself, so 2 per bag is fine. If I decide to do a larger meal where I need more steaks, then I'll pull out a couple bags as opposed to just the 1 bag. So depending on how, if you've got a larger family where you want to put 3 or 4 in a bag, you know, these quart-sized bags are large enough for that. So I'm just going to go with putting 2 in each one. And I kind of choose the sizes that I want. I think about how I'm going to cook. So my husband will probably take the larger steak and I'll take the smaller one. So I might package them like that. If I want, I mean, you could use 2 big ones, however you want. If I'm going to use it, depending on what I'm going to cook, that might vary. But again, go back to squeezing all the air out of it. Okay, squeezing as much air as you can, sealing it up, and then it's ready to go. Okay, so I have my steaks broken up into packages. I was able to fit 2 in all of them, except there was an extra one, so I actually put 3 in this one. And I have my date on my bag, and I'm ready to go ahead and start putting them in there. And I'm actually gonna save the one that has 3 as the last bag, so that I'll know where that one is. Put them in there, and kind of slip that last one right there on top. Go ahead and push the air out a little more. It's not be perfect. And then zip it up, and there you go. Okay, so you're just going to continue with the rest of the meat. Chicken, same thing. I usually do 2 or 3 pieces. It will depend on what meal I'm planning, what kind of meals I'm planning to cook. I kind of tend to go more with just putting the 2 in each bag and then taking out extra bags as I need them, rather than trying to really plan my menu out ahead of time. And the same thing with the bratwurst. I actually go with 3 on them because I'll usually have 1, my husband 2. So I just go through the packages and break them up and put them in the Ziploc bags, just as I've done with the other meats. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is what the meat looks like after it's actually been frozen. This is the steak, and the steak, this one has been frozen for about 2 months now. And I actually just used regular Ziploc bag for this one when I froze it that time. I prefer the freezer bags, but you can get away with just the regular bags as well. It's just in order to preserve it longer, I prefer the freezer bags. So this is 2 months old, still looks good. The chicken is only about a month old, and I did use the freezer bag for that one. And then this ground beef. I do like storing them in the ground beef in the sandwich bags because it doesn't take up as much space, but again, they just don't hold the quality as long. So I prefer the freezer bags, but this one is again about 2 months old. So you can see this is a great way to save money. If you buy the meat when it's on sale, then you can go ahead and kind of stock up on your meat, store it, and you have it for when you're ready to use. So I hope you find this video helpful. Good luck. Till next time.